it is very interesting that what France pretended to be to all of us, right? What they sold to us was a France of integration, of becoming, becoming French, bringing your culture with you, but putting it in your back, and at the same time embracing being a French person, speaking French and not your language from home, and they call this integration. Actually, France is the only country that believes in that. The rest of the world understand that people will go and flock together with who they look like, or who they have common interest or common taste or goals, and then after that there's going to be some mixing. And it's interesting because the only people that when they go to another country, they actually build their own neighborhoods inside their countries, and nobody has a problem with this, are the Chinese. Whenever you go to a country, right, and there's a Chinatown, nobody has a problem with it. Everybody think it's normal. Like, yeah, we have Chinatown here. In Paris, it's Paris 13e. We have Chinatown. In New York, you have, is it Canal Street? Chinatown. They even have Koreatown. They have Little Italy. But especially with Chinese, everybody think it's normal. Nobody has a problem with it. But when it comes to Africans or Arabs, communitarism, they don't like it. And here is a girl that had everything stacked against her. And she doesn't look like they want her to look. Neither the French white people nor the black people either. The guys from the West Indies, they hate the fact that she sings Zouk and she's selling millions of records singing their music, instead of embracing her and saying thank for representing for us. They're like, she's from Mali, why is she singing our stuff? The guys from the record companies, they're like, damn, we prefer like some Algerian or Tunisian light skin with green eyes. They pass more like white. And she doesn't look like a model either. She's not like that slim girl that people used to sign. Like, so the labels, 10 years ago when she arrived, 2017, I remember, because one of the first person that she works with is a friend of mine. And listen, nobody thought that this girl from Mali singing Zouk with a Japanese name would go far. They were like, yeah, it's cute. Listen, at that time, I was like, oh, this one. And I think I was I already in Portugal when she started? I'm not sure. But I remember the first team she worked with, I was telling them, oh, there's potential here. I was telling them, yo, I want to make some beats because there was something going on. And yeah, she was there singing zouk with a little bit of R&B, a little bit of Mali, a little bit of what us in Paris we actually call the multicultural. Listen, she made me think of me. Grew up in Paris, born in Africa, arrived early, grew up in Paris amongst multiple people. Whites, Asians, black, multiple types of black, French-speaking black, African-speaking black, whatever country from Africa, English-speaking blacks, Portuguese-speaking blacks, Capverdians, Chinese, Japanese, Albanians, Ukrainians, Russians, Italians, Portuguese, Spanish people. But in reality, we were more from Paris more than all these things. So when she started singing, she sang what she loves, what she grew up listening to in Paris, zouk. She grew up listening to Kim, Tia, probably to Kaysha, who knows? And yeah, but nobody thought that she would become the biggest French singer. And it is so interesting that she's now getting all these hates because the president said, well, she should open for the Olympic Games next year in Paris. Oh, everybody went crazy. This is not becoming a big political debate. Everybody forgetting that they're talking about a human being and a woman. All these people who talk about defense of women and what they feel in their heart, etc. All of a sudden, nobody cares. And it is becoming a racial divide about should Ayan Nakamura sing in the Olympic Games in Paris. And me, I'm like, isn't this supposed to be to show when the integration wins? When you have somebody from Mali that became French, that grew up in France, that speak French, sings in French, that is selling tons and tons of records for as a French person, and is paying hundreds of thousands of euros of taxes that you guys are using to pay the police, the hospitals, the lights. She's paying probably 100 times more taxes than all you guys that are angry. And still, I've been hearing the guys from Martinique and Guadeloupe say, yo, why doesn't she say that she sings zouk and this is not the real zouk and etc. And I'm like, she doesn't fit the profile, huh? And now the French media is there between those who want to defend her and those who want to say that it should not be her, or if she comes sing at the Olympic Games, like Macron said, she should sing Edith Piaf. The fuck are you talking about? When Beyonce goes to the Super Bowl, does she sing Elvis Presley? Nah, she sings Beyonce. And now you have an artist that is the biggest thing ever coming out of France from the last 10 years. And all you care about is that she doesn't fit the profile. And see, it's a little bit why I left that country 12 years ago. At a point, you just feels that you don't fit the profile, and you realize that you understand why this country is going the direction it's going. It's because of that. People in America are way more racist than in France. But when it comes to business, when it's time for the Super Bowl, they will put Usher, they will put Dr. Dre, they will put ex-gangsters, they will put ex-drug dealers, the Jay-Z's, they will put the this and the that, the Michael Jackson, the Prince, they will put representative of people that they might not align, but they understand that this is good for the aura of the country at the international, because it's the Olympic Games. And it makes complete sense when you are having an artist that is one of the best, if not the best selling artist these last few years. Every single that she does make a million streaming in the week, and go international every week. She's known everywhere. The people that don't even understand what she sings, they know the lyrics, they know the songs, the generation, the multicolored generation, they just love her. And they all chant, they all know the songs. And she doesn't fit the profile that they want. But you know what? In America, which is, listen, a God-forsaken country, but when it comes to business, they understand that they need to think about the business more than the prejudgment they have in their head. And they're like, yo, listen, if she's number one, if she's the one, listen. All right, listen. Next Super Bowl, listen. When they think who we're gonna put at the Super Bowl, they think Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Usher, Rihanna, Drake. They think Lil Wayne. They're gonna think superstar, because they're gonna think business. They're gonna think about how we're gonna show something that the whole world wants to see. Listen, if I was the president of Congo and the Olympic Games was organized in Kinshasa and Lubumbashi and Goma and Kolwezi, you can be sure that to do the opening, I would call Fally Ipupa or Kofi and them. I would put the GOATs and I would tell them, yeah, how much you need to do a mega show, how much you need to do the best show of the world. We're going to make it happen. We're going to give you the accessories, the this, the that, how many dancers. You want 100 dancers? Let's go. Because this is the window of the world looking through our country. So you're gonna represent for us because you are part of us. And here is a country that did everything for these people to be part of the country, because they went and they invaded all these countries And they wanted to integrate all these people 60 years ago. And now they look at the kids of the kids of the kids of these people that they brought in, and they're like, you don't fit the profile. When they should be like, yeah, of course, it makes sense. Listen, even a racist person should say to himself, I don't like her, I don't like to see her, but she makes sense. She's number one. In terms of business, if I think about the country and Olympic Games, yeah, she should be there. And she should sing her songs. No fucking Edith Piaf. And here is a country that, listen, when I had my French passport, I was so proud. Like, after living there for probably 20 years, I finally was a French citizen. I finally would not have to enter touring around the world. I would finally not have to enter through the immigration. I could be there like a French person. And I've been paying taxes for 20 years. Listen, I'm just like her. I paid hundreds of thousands in taxes in that country, and proudly, because I was making hundreds of thousands more of money. So yeah, listen, every year I would pay my taxes and be like, yeah, I'm doing my part as a citizen. And that was before I became a French citizen. But then I think I had my nationality in 2010. But by then, a little bit after, I was like, I have to leave this place because of this backwards mentality of 2 weeks of debates on TV, online, of people insulting themselves, everybody going crazy about what? Just the fact that should Ayan Nakamura sing at Olympic Games? 2 weeks? Oh, that's why I got the fuck out in 2012. Because this should not even be a conversation. Yeah, listen, you can debate, you can think about it for a day or two. Now, that's what they do out there. And that's why, listen, at a point, I don't even watch news in French. I don't even know what's going on. I just moved on. Because you just like, is it not what you wanted for us to be integrated? And listen, I remember growing up, never thinking about where people were from. Listen, I have some friends, I remember growing up, going to shows with Stomy Bugsy. I had no idea that this guy was from Cape Verde. Doing shows with Passy. I had no idea that this guy was from Congo. Only when I went to the West Indies for the first time that I realized that, oh, the West Indies. Only when I start walking with Eligio, I was like, oh, there's Cape Verdean community. Only through music, I started discovering all the different communities that was Paris. And I was like, oh. And when I did my first album, I just wanted to represent for everybody. As a normal guy from Paris, that in our normal French language, we use stuff from Congo, stuff from Maghreb, from Algeria, stuff from Corsica, stuff from the north of France, stuff from here and there. It's just like it's just a melting pot. And of course, I grew up privileged, so I didn't really realize, like, but when I did my first album, I never said to myself, I should do Congolese music, I should do rumba because I should do ndombolo or soukous because I was born in Congo, in Kinshasa. I never said to myself, everybody that comes from Martinique or Guadeloupe have to do zouk. Everybody that comes from Haiti have to do compa. Like, because to me, I came from Paris. I mean, I was born in Kinshasa, but I was in Paris since I was 7 years old. So I came from Paris. And I represented Paris and everybody in Paris from every color. And yeah, listen, our dream was to see more of us on TV. And when my album came out and my first video went on TV, that was the best thing in the world for me. And then after that, I wanted to explore the world. And as I explored the world, I realized of all the communities and everything. And I also realized one thing. You know what? Everywhere I go in the world, the French people, they stick together in communities. They all become neighbors. They have parties together. They stay together. The same thing they hate that people do in France, they do it when they are outside. Maybe because it's a normal human thing. But they just want to fight against normal things. And they hate that one of us, listen, she could have been of any color. And they just hate that. It works. She's a product of Paris. And she has a little bit of Mali in her, probably a little bit of Congo in her, a little bit of West Indies through music, and a lot of France, because that's where she grew up. And yeah, she represents this country just like all of us. But she doesn't have the right profile. And listen, I believe she's a strong woman, but listen, I wouldn't want to be in that position where you didn't ask for anything. The president just gave an idea. He said, I would love her to do it. And then everybody's going crazy and talking about you for 2 weeks. She's a woman, a mother. She's a person. She has a heart. She has feelings. And she has to see all this that is being said about her. And listen, she might be really hurt and shame on all of you. Or she might say, that's great promo for my new single. I don't know. But I now see a lot of people who are now defending her and who are pushing her and saying that we are behind you. But the same people a few years ago used to hate on her for not having the right profile too. They used to hate on her for doing zouk and not coming from the West Indies. I've been there. And so I look at everybody with my side eye and I'm like, see, the difference between us in the Francophone diaspora is the lack of unity, that the Americans understood that they needed to have to survive. And maybe because they lived stuff that was harder than us, they have this need, this urge to stick together and be behind each other and push them and spend money on their own project to become strong, that we don't have because we didn't go through the horrible thing that they went through. Yeah, we're just there and yeah, listen, I cannot find a home because my name is Mohammed. Like all this stuff, like the ordinary small racism. This is not like what these people have been had to go through, and they had to have the Black Panthers, the Martin Luther Kings, etc. Like because they had all that, and they have other problems out there. In the US, they're stuck in this idea that the whole world has to be divided and everything has to be racial. But us, because everything has always been very hypocrite, we end up not really sticking together. And another reason for that is also the fact that we all come from different places, which is, I believe, something that makes France a very rich country. The fact that the wealth from everybody is bringing something, and there's a lot of great things to choose from. Everybody. There's a lot of bad things that come too, but it's normal. But if people live together, they end up finding ways to make it work. And at the same time, it's the quality of that. But at the same time, it makes people not really stick together because everybody is also coming from all these different places. Black Americans, they are more American than they are anything else. Even if they see themselves as victims in the US a lot, they still see themselves as Americans. They don't see themselves as Beninois, Congolais. They're not into that. They are Americans. So these are some of the differences that put us here, where once again we realize that we have to be behind, and sometimes we all have to step in front and be in front to protect our heroes. Listen, learn from the Jews. That's what they do. You say something about one of them, you get canceled. Because, they seized the means of production. They made sure to be everywhere and to have power. And there's nothing wrong about that. This is what we should do as well. But we don't. We just want to be there on front, sing, play football, etc. Nobody wants to be in the back work, be down there doing the dirty work, or try to become the president. But look at all of us, how we celebrate when Obama is a president as if he became the president of France. Try to be a mayor in France, just a mayor, and you will see how you don't fit the profile. So it's a very interesting state of the world. And listen, all I know is that I'm behind you. And if you need anything, just call. It is what it is.